stream. It's a campfire glow, flickers on faces I'll never know. Static in the mic, silence in my head. Some battles don't end when the orders are read. Days eat on the screen, hunger in red, cold in my bones, ghost in my bed. I look like a rookie, trust like a fool, still learning the rules of a world this cruel. I wasn't trained for this kind of fight. No rain can fix a sleepless night. Daisy's just the backdrop, the storm and the rain. The real survival's fighting what's in the brain. If you're barely holding on, brother, so am I. Let's respond tonight. Don't say goodbye, I'll die 1,000 times. Then pixels and light, if it keeps one of us breathing through the night. I'm a retired army vet with worn out plans, still scanning corners with shaking hands. My tactics are infantile, my map's all wrong, but my effort's been off the chart all along. This game's not about winning or stacking the deck. It's about staying alive inside your head when the memories ambush without a sound, and the safest place feels underground. If you don't know what to say, stay anyway. Just hearing boots nearby can keep death at bay. Daisy is just the backdrop, the cold and the fear. The real fight's the one that follows you here. If you're watching in silence, stuck in the fight, let's respond tonight. Don't fade out of sight. I'll bleed out on screen, I'll laugh, I'll try, if it buys you one more sunrise in the sky. You're not weak for breaking, you're not lost for feeling pain. We carried weight no one could see, and some of it still remains. So sit by this fire, don't walk alone. Even survivors need a place called home. Daisy fades to black, but you don't have to. This world's still better with you passing through. If you're one step from quitting the fight tonight, respawn with me, stay alive. This isn't just a game, it's a reason. Stay. Jumpmaster, stand and watch again. If you're here, you made it, friend.
Happy Tuesday, everybody, wherever you may be. I know it's amazing. I'm here on a Tuesday. For the past couple weeks, I've been having trouble. I've been having trouble getting here on Tuesday. Either I've been sick, I've been overworked, overfamilied. I don't know, over whatever. Anyway, we're here today. It's Tuesday. We're playing DayZ. How'd you like the opening? Did you like it? Was it cool? I know that I'm sort of copying my daughter, but I like the idea. I really like the idea of having a specific song for the day stream and a specific cover for the day stream. It gets a little crazy in the OBS and stuff when you try to set it up, but I actually like it. I think it's cool. So again, that was an AI song created by my prompts with several different AI sources. I used ChatGPT. I used the Suno. I do use Suno. I pay for it. I've used some other AI song creators, but Suno seems to be the better of the ones that I've used. So that's what I've used. That's what I'm using now. Let's see. A couple housekeeping notes. I do have 2 moderators for TikTok. I got several for purple. I don't need any for red, really. I don't get any traffic on red during my lives. So if you are going to act a fool, expect a ban. Was it Sunday? No, Friday. I think it was Friday. Whatever. Somebody tried to be a fool. Somebody was a fool. Got instantly banned. Well, quickly banned. It wasn't instantly, but it was quickly banned. And they skirted the system. They really did skirt the system. Could not believe that they figured this out. And maybe, just whatever. But if you look up the Korean word for you, it's not a word you want to use in the United States. So don't do it. I don't care what, I don't care. There's no reason for you to be using you on my stream over and over without knowing what you're doing. Okay? So you're going to get banned. Don't do it. And you might even get reported. Had I thought about it when I did it, I would have reported that person too. But I didn't. All right. So, a couple things. As my name implies, with the RT, I was a respiratory therapist back in the day. I retired from respiratory therapy work back in 2016. Gesundheit. Retired back in 2016 from medicine, period. I no longer wanted to work in medicine after 23 years or whatever I did. 25 years, I guess. So I started, I left the medical career. But what's funny about that is everybody in medicine, has this thing with collecting pens. And I guess we have the drug reps and other reps to thank for that. But pens are a thing that get passed out in the medical field. And we collect them. And no lie, we will steal them from each other. If you got a cool pen, we're going to steal it from each other. So I was going through my pens the other day because, I don't know who doesn't. Maybe y'all don't, but this is one of 4 in our house that are full of pens. So I was going through this today, and I realized how ridiculous it is that I have this many pens. Still. I'm never going to use all these pens in my lifetime. That's why they're still sitting. Some of these are brand new, never been used. Still the wax on the ball, It's crazy. But it's because I make notes like this. Whatever. I make notes on a notepad during my stream, or just sitting at my desk, doing whatever I'm doing. I want to make notes so I can remember to do it later. Hopefully remember to do it later. And I was going through, I'm writing my notes, and pen dries up or whatever, and I throw it out. And I pull another one, and I try to use it. It's crap too, and I throw it out. It's just, it's crazy how many pens that I have that I never use that are instantly dried up. And yes, I did, do all that to try and get them to work. There's just a point where pens aren't going to work. We don't hate on the pens. We don't have, if you don't use them, they don't work. just thought it was crazy that we have so many pens in this house, but they're all in strategic locations. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Next, we all have other hobbies. And I was listening to Creating Reality this morning. I was watching her stream while I was getting set up for mine. And she was talking about how sometimes she'll get hyperfixated on something. And as somebody who gets hyperfixated quite often, I have a story about how I got hyperfixated, stopped for some reason, and then came back to it. And that is with clay. You guys have heard me talk about John Plant, who runs the channel Primitive Technology on YouTube. And his first video, or the video that got him traction, was one where he's from Australia. I think he's in northern Queensland, but I can't remember where he's at exactly. But he films himself out in the wilderness with no sound, no talking. He does not talk. No one has ever heard, can't say no one, but as far as I know, he has never used his voice on YouTube. Not a video. I can't say 100%, but I'm 99% sure he has never had his voice on YouTube. So when you watch the videos, if you want to follow along with what's happening, you can turn on closed captions. He does a great job of using closed captions as his storyline, I guess, to narrate the video. But his first video that got him traction was he built a hut out of clay that he dug up from the surrounding area, and he fired it from start to finish. I mean, using just primitive technology. He used a hand drill to start his fire, not steel and flint. He cuts down trees with rocks. He sharpens rocks, cuts down trees. So he doesn't use modern technology at all. He uses primitive technology exclusively in his videos. But he's building this hut out of clay, and part of the design that he made when he built this hut was he ran a fire pit through the center, and then had the chimney coming out the other side of it. It was really cool. It was a great idea, because if you're in a cold climate, it's kind of like he built it kind of like a rocket stove. But the funny thing is that the heat, the fire was outside by the front door. The heat traveled underneath using the rocket, convection, and then the exhaust was out the backside of the hut. And the whole concept of what he was doing, I was enamored by it. So when I was working in construction, we would dig up construction sites, or not. We would dig up parts of the construction area to do concrete footers and walls. And here in Georgia, we are surrounded by red clay. So I got me a 5-gallon bucket, a couple 5-gallon buckets from couple different job sites. I wet processed that clay a couple years ago, and then let it sit, and it got nasty bacteria and algae and stuff all over it. Let me back up. I let it sit in a bucket, very, very, very moist. I wouldn't say it was. Yeah, I guess it did have a little bit of water on it. It was still sitting in some water, and in a 5-gallon bucket with a closed lid, it's not going to evaporate. But in an anaerobic environment, the bacteria and the algae were growing like crazy. So I had to strain all that stuff off, clean the clay before I then dried it out to dry process it. Now, you'd be asking yourself, if you know anything about clay, why in the world did I wet process it and then dry process it? Well, because I realized after having wet processed it and leaving it sit for so long that it turned out to be crap when I opened the bucket after 3 or 4 years or whatever. So that's the first reason. The second reason is, why am I storing water? Why would I store water? Right, so it didn't make any sense. So over the last 2 months, I guess, I don't remember how long it's, over the last 2 months or so, I dried the clay back out, got rid of all the water, got rid of all the bacteria and stuff. I put vinegar in it and all that stuff. Put vinegar, got rid of algae and bacteria, and let it dry completely. And then I ground it with a grain grinder, hand cranked grain grinder. Say that 3 times fast even. And it turned it into a nice fine powder, and it fits into one 5-gallon bucket, but it turned out to be 48 and a half pounds, 48 and a half pounds of clay processed over 2 months in a total of 5 hours of work. Because it took a while. You had to let it sit and dry out, and then you can't stand there and crank it all day. You do a couple handfuls. Your arm and just because it's hard. It's to get it the consistency you want. You got to crank it, and it's hard. So it was. It took me 2 months, 5 hours total, to get it done. But it's finally done. It's all in one bucket. It's now a nice dry clay. And I can't wait. And one of the reasons why I brought it back out is because the boss, the 3-year-old boss that we have, he's 3 and he's working with Play-Doh right now. He loves his Play-Doh. And I figured, why not let him play with real clay and see what we can come up with, what we can make as he's playing with it. And we're going to fire every piece that he makes, and we're going to give it back to us. Oh, what's going on, Mr. Average? We're going to give it, we're going to give the pieces to his mom, and if she doesn't want them or after they break or whatever, they'll end up coming back to my house and becoming grog anyway. What? Come on, man. All right, we lost TikTok, so we got to restart. Give me just a second. We're going to cut